Time for a Vet Minute with Revival's Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Marty Greer. Dr. Greer, the question is, how can I tell if my female is pregnant? What are some of the signs to look for, both physical and behavioral?
Well, I hate to say this, but the best way to diagnose a pregnancy is always going to be with abdominal ultrasound, which typically involves a visit to your veterinarian. There are some blood tests on the market. I'm not a fan of those. The reason I like ultrasound the best is I can get an estimation of not only the size of the litter, but how strong the puppies look and if it looks like there's any abnormal puppies in the litter. But people want to try this at home. So some people will palpate or feel the dog's abdomen. And if you choose to do that, you want to palpate or feel it very carefully because rough or too aggressive palpation can actually interfere with the placental attachment. So we don't want to in any way jeopardize the pregnancy by manipulating the female too much. The one thing that everybody tends to overlook is the fact that all female dogs, pregnant or not, have a high progesterone. Every dog goes through either a pregnancy or a false pregnancy after she ovulates. So sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference because progesterone is one of the hormones that dictates the changes in the behaviors that we see. So every female, as soon as she ovulates, her progesterone rises, continues to rise, and will stay high for 60 to 63 days, to the point that I've even seen some dogs go into false labor. It's not common, but they're so convinced that they're pregnant that it can happen. So the important things to note are progesterone is always high regardless of ovulation or not. Every dog has a false pregnancy or a real pregnancy. A lot of people count on the color of their nipples. Some females will have a change in their nipple color. They'll become a little bit more prominent and more pink than they would be when she's not pregnant. Sometimes they'll even have sort of a candy corn stripe to them, so you can notice the changes. I don't typically see color changes in the vulvar skin, the skin around the vagina, but some people do describe that. A lot of female dogs, and in fact, it's considered the most reliable change, is a decrease in appetite between the third and fifth week of pregnancy. It's really common, but not every dog does. I'll have people that come in and frequently for ultrasound, and I'll say, "So, what do you think?" And they'll say, "Oh, she's eating like a champ." I'm like, "Ooh, that may not be good," because I typically expect to see the appetite drop off. Maybe it's just for one meal if it's a Labrador. Maybe it's if a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, she'll miss 3 or 4 meals before she starts to feel well enough again to eat. And it may not always be in the morning. It might be morning, it might be evening, so we can't really quite call it morning sickness. And then the other really reliable indicator of pregnancy is a clear vaginal discharge at the time that they're more than 3 weeks pregnant, and we can see that up until the time they deliver. So a clear vaginal discharge is fine. If you see color to the vaginal discharge, red, green, brown, any kind of color that doesn't look like it's clear, then that's reason for concern and reason for veterinary intervention. So at that point, it's important to go into the veterinary clinic, get a progesterone, get an ultrasound, and see if the pregnancy is going appropriately or not. But like I said, every female has a false pregnancy, so it can be sometimes hard, and sometimes we'll overinterpret that information when we're so excited that we hope that she's pregnant.
Hi, if you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing to the Revival Animal Health YouTube channel. If you have a pet health question, call our pet care pros at this number, and don't miss our other pet health videos.